Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome back to another video. My name is Tawanda, and this is Tawanda's Blessed Life. Today's video is part of a playlist, the What Would You Make playlist. I will be using 2 chairs that I purchased off of Facebook Marketplace for $5, along with a desk that was a trash or treasure find, and also some old decking boards off of our gazebo that we're replacing some wood on. And so today's video is hosted by Brenda from Rustic and Lace DIY and Christine from DEVYNE Designs, and the guest host is Leslie from Happy Tuesday. I will have the links to the host and the guest host channels in my description box, along with the link to the playlist. If you can go ahead and click on the playlist to continue watching the videos, I would greatly appreciate it. So let's go ahead and get started with today's video. So I have these 2 chairs that I found on Facebook Marketplace for $5. I'm going to go ahead and start off by removing the seats off of the chairs. Here I am just trying to get those. First I was trying to get the wasp nest out of the holes where the screws were. So I'm just trying to shake those out, and I'm going to go ahead and use my screwdriver to remove the nails so that I can take the seats off. And then I am going to remove all of the tape from the bottom of the chairs. I'm not really sure why there was so much tape, but because it's been extremely hot here in Florida, the tape was like really like soft and mushy, and I have had these sitting outside for the past couple of months. So once I had those taken off, I had my husband come and help me because we were outside working on our gazebo in our backyard. And so I had him help me with cutting the decking boards that I'm going to use that we took off of the gazebo, the ones that we replaced. And so we cut those to size, and I'm just going to place them on top of the chairs just to kind of get an idea of where I want them. And then my husband went ahead and cut them for me. And so this is what they're currently looking like. And so then I took the sander and then I went ahead and sanded off. I tried to sand off a lot of the glossiness from the chairs, and also there was stickers and tape glue everywhere. So I went ahead and just sand that stuff off. And then this is what they were looking like. And then I went ahead and sanded the back sides of the decking boards. So I didn't use the sides that were already stained because I knew I wanted to stain these. So I went ahead and flipped them over and sanded that side. And then I have this other piece of board that came from my backyard. My backyard is like a treasure trove of all types of things that you can find back there. We have been doing so many things for our home, but we haven't really made it outside to our backyard to do the things that we wanted to do. So now we're in the process of doing that, and we're finding all types of things back there that the previous owners left. And so this is what it looks like after I finish sanding them. And then I'm going to go ahead and give the chairs a coat of this moss spray paint, which is so pretty. I'm going to give it 2 coats. I have a stash of paint. Whenever I go to Lowe's, they usually have their paints on clearance when you first walk in the store. I am an actual introvert, believe it or not. And so I like to go to Lowe's like early in the morning when they open, so that I'm like in there by myself pretty much. But they usually have a clearance aisle that nobody's touched because it's so early, and they usually have paints in there for like $1. So I usually buy a lot of their paints when they're on sale. Okay, so for this one, I have this resin, epoxy resin, that I use to, my idea was I was going to, well, first of all, it was so hot that my camera just overheated. So it didn't catch me doing that. But so I took the epoxy and I placed it in all of the little holes on my wood, my decking pieces. But the wood was so dry that it basically just kind of like sucked it all in and didn't do anything. So I went ahead and just sanded it off. And so here I'm just going to give it a coat of the early American stain. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm only going to do 1 coat on all of my boards here. Originally I was just going to do a clear coat because I really liked the way the natural wood looked, but I just decided to give it a coat of stain because I'm not really sure how old these boards are, but I wanted to make sure that I kept them protected. And so after I did that, I went ahead and decided I was going to go ahead and start to assemble my chair, which yeah. So originally I was going to have my husband help me, but he was in the middle of doing something. So, and then the rain came. And then once it stopped, I was a little bit impatient. So I decided I was just going to go ahead and just knock this out myself. And so this part wasn't too bad. It was just getting the front piece on that I had some issues with. So I ended up attaching the decking boards with some liquid nail. And so here I am just doing that. I went ahead and placed them where I wanted them first. And then I added the liquid nail. And then I started to pre-drill some holes. I did end up breaking, I broke 2 of our drill bits. So you'll see that here shortly. And then I went ahead and just started to place the holes, place the nails in the holes that I pre-drilled to get my bench assembled. So I wanted to make this bench. I saw something similar to this on Facebook Marketplace, and I didn't want to pay the price that they had, so I figured I would make my own. So I was on a mission to find me some chairs, and originally the lady had these chairs posted for $10. She had them posted for $15, and then she marked it down to $10. And then as soon as I saw them, it said $10, which I would have been fine with paying $10. Then the price went down to $5. So I was like, oh, that's fine. So I contacted her and I got them for $5. So, which is a great deal. And so here I am, just pre-drilling my holes to attach my screws. And so I forget what I was talking about, but yeah, so I thought $5 was an awesome deal. So I told her I could come get them the next morning. And so I've had these sitting out in my carport for the past couple of months. I did put these in a haul video that I did a couple of months back, but yeah, so I am really liking the way that this is turning out. And here's when I actually end up breaking the drill bit. You'll see that it's like hanging, it's just inside of the chair. So there it is there. And then the rain came back again. And so I went back inside and rested for a little bit, and then once it stopped raining, I came back out. And here I am adding the screws. I'm actually just using the screws that came out of the chairs originally, because this bench is going to sit up under my carport. I wanted to make this because I wanted to be able to I wanted something nice up under my carport, and also the bench that I have up under my carport, I'm going to move that to my backyard because we are having a section of our backyard paved, and I wanted to put that bench in front of the fire pit that we're going to have installed. And so here I am just struggling, trying to get the front piece on. And then I had to call for reinforcements. So my husband did have to come out and help me because I could not, I went ahead and pre-drilled everything, but I just could not hold it and screw the piece of wood in on the front of it by myself. And so once I had my holes pre-drilled and I was attempted to try and get this done by myself, it just did not work. But anywho, squirrel. So my plan is to place this bench where I had the black one over in the corner, and then I had planned on decorating for fall outside of my home this weekend, but it's been storming all day, so that's not going to happen. So here's my lovely husband who came out to assist me with this. So he went ahead and placed the screws into where I needed them to go. And then we tested out the bench to make sure that it was sturdy. And then the next day I came out and I sprayed it with some of the Rust-Oleum clear coat, which was a big mistake for me. It actually left like this white like film or coating on the wood and on the chairs. I was able to go over the chairs and give them another fresh coat of stain to cover that film. But once the rain stops, I'll have to go back and give the chairs a fresh coat of the moss paint. For this DIY, I have some legs that came off of a desk that one of my neighbors had threw away. I ended up taking the desk and removing the legs off of it. So here I'm going to go ahead and start to mark where I want to cut my legs. And I actually, once I took them outside to cut them with the miter saw, I ended up changing how I want to cut them. And so you'll see that when once I bring them back in. And then I'm also going to be using the seat off of the chair. So I'm going to be making a plant stand. I'm also going to be using some napkins, some outdoor Mod Podge, and then also I'm going to give it a clear coat of the MIG Wax polyacrylic, excuse me, clear top coat. I'm going to give it 2 coats of that. So I went ahead and just gave the top of this chair 1 coat of the acrylic white paint. So I'm actually going to use the back side of the chair that's more flatter than the side that you will sit on. And so here I am adding my outdoor Mod Podge. I do apologize, I'm not in full, I don't have it all the way on the camera. I was talking to my family and I was distracted, and then I had the camera in the wrong position. So here I am just adding my napkin, which I think is so cute, with the outdoor Mod Podge. And so I am going to layer the napkin in the center because the napkin was not big enough for to fit over my whole chair. So I used 2.5 napkins is what I used to decoupage the chair. So here you'll see me here doing that. And then once I had all my Mod Podge applied, I let it dry overnight. And then the next day I came back and I gave it the 2 coats of the polyacrylic. I don't know why I cannot get that. Why I can't say that today. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for continuing to support my channel. I really do appreciate it. My name is Tawanda and this is Tawanda's Blessed Life. And on my channel, I do decorating on a budget, DIYs and hauls with a sprinkle of migraine enlightenment. I also do sister log updates and lifestyle updates. So if that is something that you are interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to join my YouTube family. I would greatly appreciate it. So this is the next morning. Once it was completely dry, I took my sanding block and my hand sander, excuse me, and went ahead and sanded off the excess napkin. And then I added the 2 coats of the polyacrylic to my napkin. Now I did make a mistake here, or I did mess something up. I went a little bit too heavy with the polyacrylic, and you can see there where I actually ended up wiping off a section of the napkin. Not really sure what happened there, but I'm gonna probably assume that maybe I put a lot more Mod Podge in that area and it didn't dry completely. So I just tore off a piece of napkin. I just added some more of the polyacrylic, and I just placed a napkin on top of it and then gave it another coat on top of with the polyacrylic. It's been like this for a couple of weeks now, and it's completely dry. It's not peeling off, so I'm going to assume that it should be fine with me not adding any more Mod Podge and just attaching it with the polyacrylic. But as time goes by, we'll see what happens. But this is what it's looking like, and I really loved what it turned out. It looks so good. And so here are my legs that I went ahead and cut off. As you can see, they're a little bit longer than what I had drawn out or traced out how I wanted them. And so here I went ahead and pre-drilled my holes in my legs and into my seat. And I'm also going to add some E6000, but I'm trying to add deck screws into the chair and I'm having a hard time getting them in. So I ended up taking those out and going with a smaller screw. So you'll see me here doing that shortly because I'm like struggling here. So here are I went with a shorter screw, excuse me. So I'm going to add my E6000 and attach my legs, but I did end up going back and removing those screws and replacing those with the deck screws. So you'll see those in the reveal. We are moving on to our last and final DIY for today. I have the other seat from the chair, and then I also have the other half of the legs from the desk. I'm going to start off by painting the seat with the moss paint. I'm actually going to give it 2 coats. The first coat I let dry, and then the second coat, when I started it, I decided in the middle of that while it was still wet, I was going to go ahead and add some of the night sky blue paint to it just to give it a little bit of color. So you'll see me here doing that here shortly. And then once that was complete, I did go over the seat with the mid-wax polyacrylic crystal clear top coat. I gave it 2 coats of that to protect the seat for when I have it outside and when I place my plants on it. And then once it was completely dry, I went ahead and started to assemble my plant stand. So I went ahead and pre-drilled my holes. And here I'm going to be using some of the black screws. So originally I decided to use the black screws on this one, and I added my E6000 to attach everything. But then later on, I ended up taking the black screws out and going back and using the screws I was going to use originally, which were the deck screws, because those would be better for being outside. And so I took the black screws out and added the deck screws. So you'll see that in the reveal. And then once that was complete, as I was looking at the stand, I just felt like it needed something else. So I decided I was going to give it a little back to it, like a little railing to the back of it. And so I took 3 tumbling tire blocks and I glued those together using some E6000. And then I have this Thomas Kincaid frame that I picked up at the thrift store a couple of years ago. I think I paid $3 for it. And it has this little railing on top of it. So, or this trim piece on top of it, excuse me. So I went ahead and it was already kind of broken off. So I went ahead and just pulled it off, and I used some E6000 and some hot glue, and I glued that on top of my tumbling tire blocks. And that is going to be it for this DIY. I love the way that it turned out. So you'll have to let me know what you think. And that is going to be it for today's video. Please go ahead and click on the link to continue watching the What Would You Make playlist. And I would like to thank you all for spending part of your day with me. If you like what I'm doing, please like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And like I always say, be nicer, be kinder. God will love you for it. And I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you on Sunday. Goodbye.